late game situations we didn't execute the way we should have, just again being in the right spot. Those things will come. We're not panicking over those. We knew that was going to happen. Our number one job from day one was to get better defensively, establish ourselves. Now, not only have we gotten better defensively, we got to maintain that level of intensity, that level of focus on the defensive end.
Did the tape show you anything that you weren't expecting?
No. Well, just how easy, how bad our turnovers were, and that was what it showed more than anything. It wasn't anything we didn't expect. At the end of the game, we got to be able to execute. Clock management right before the first half was over. We had some bonehead plays. We talked about those. We corrected those. We got to understand time and score. When we have an opportunity to have a 2-for-1 situation, we got to execute those. Again, those are things that are going to be on the come.
How many stops are in a multiple stops?
We got to get 3 stops. Multiple stops.
And 7 of those?
Seven is our goal per game. And when we do that, we're doing pretty good defensively, and that's our goal. And we work on it. We talk about that. We focus on that standpoint. And I was surprised but happy that we got that last night.
What do you find as a statistical measure of your defense? Field goal percentage against 2-point. What do you use?
Field goal percentage is one. I think that's one for me. I would say points in the paint is another determining factor. Layups are, when the team is scoring in your paint, that means they're breaking down your perimeter defense, that type of thing. So we keep up with points in the paint. Of course, when you do that, your field goal percentage is going to go up. So those two are kind of tied together. 3-point shooting, we want to force them to shoot the ball. Now, you got a guy like Ray Allen, it's a different story, but our thing is make them score tough twos. And that's kind of our measuring stick. But again, to answer your question, Doug, points in the paint.
Do you use a lot of advanced metrics,
We did use it, and we do that here too. Our guy here is in Japan, and we're going to try to get him back here next year because the immediate information you get right after the game is very important. And the time they get it in Japan, the time we get it transferred here is something that we're working on, and they're trying to help us with it. But the important thing is get that information right out of the bat. In Dallas, they had a guy, he was in our coaches' meetings, and so he kind of knew what we were measuring, and we're going to develop that here. We got in-house people here. We just, right now they're on other assignments.
Coach, do you have simple measures for the team, like 45% or under, 43% or under? Do you have those kinds of measures?
Offensively?
Defensively?
No, we'd like to get 45% under is cool. I think that's the most important thing, keeping that field goal percentage below 45%. Anything below 40 is really good, but that's kind of our thing. I think points in the paint are huge. When the team is getting layups and invading your paint, that's the most important thing.
Didn't seem to be many layups yesterday.
No, it didn't. We had a couple, and a lot of those were on cuts from the weak side. We talked about those. We worked on those today. And, Boston's one of the hardest cutting, most cerebral teams we'll play, with their bigs being excellent passers, and Kevin's a great passer, a willing passer. So that puts even more pressure on the weak side defense because he does see the cutters and he's willing to pass the ball. So that it's good work for us because we probably won't see as many great passing big men as we'll see with Boston.
Coach, how much is pace affected for you? In the West they kind of run up and down a little bit more. In the East it's a little bit more banging. How much is that impacting?
I thought last night was probably a typical East Coast game, and we want to play a little bit faster than that. And I think once we get more comfortable in our secondary break where we can flow into it, where our point guard is not, turn and fighting pressure up the floor. We have triggers in where we can advance the ball up the floor and get right into offense, and that's what we want to do. And again, a lot of that's going to come with time, and but we got to recognize that trigger and not fight the pressure. Now we're fighting against the shot clock. I thought we had too many situations where we were fighting the clock and had to jack up some ill-advised shots, and again, that's on me because of the fact we hadn't had a lot of time to, execute offensively, and we're going to spend more time. But again, not at the expense of our defense.
Are they playing more than thinking on defense? That seemed to be more instinctive.
They're thinking more than playing. The other way around. Yeah. They're thinking more than playing, and again, that's usually with a new system, new offensive system that's fairly new. again, last year I thought the staff last year did a great job with the offensive execution. And we may have to steal some of their sets from last year and do some things from last year, but to get us going offensively. But again, those things will come. We just got to take one step at a time.
What's the balance on the other side, thinking and playing from the defensive side?
Well, there's no thinking defensively. It's got to be instinctive. That's why we have drilled so much. Probably, I would say 80% of our practices this first week was defense, and where now our defensive coverage are more instinctive. I was really, really impressed with Andrea's defense last night, and coming back in the paint, rebounding. It's what we've been talking about. He did an excellent job of really executing defensively, getting out, impacting the ball, and coming back into the paint and being a presence in the paint and using the side and not leaking out to the offensive end. So those things we're going to keep harping on. We got to continue to get. We got to make our defense part of our personality and a habit.
You saw Rasul.
I think he turned his ankle, tweaked his ankle a little bit during some drills, and I hope he's going to be okay. I don't know. I haven't talked with the trainers, but he tweaked his ankle. AC is still gimpy with his shoulder, and Barbosa didn't go today. He had a sore back. He got somebody screened him in the back last night and woke up this morning with a tight back. So we got some soldiers down, but we still got to take what we have and go to war with it.
The number of personal fouls yesterday, I mean, is that a product of you want them to be tougher, and this is was that expected just the same way the offense being a little slower?
Yeah, we don't mind that. I mean, we got to be smarter. We got to adjust to officiating. If officials are calling it tight, we got to adjust to that. Some of our screening early, I want screening, but we got to be smarter. We got to give a guy a step and have a time to react. I think that's important, but I don't mind that. I think we gotta err on the side of being physical, but being smart with it, make it a legal physical, and there's ways to do that.
The other one I want to ask you, James Johnson, you were raving about him pretty much all week. He only had 10 minutes. Is that a product of you already know what you're getting there and you don't need to see it? Or
No, and that's probably one reason we wanted to see what Forbes would do. Forbes came in and did an excellent job. It wasn't anything James did wrong. He's going to be in the lineup again going next game right now. It was more of what Forbes was doing for us, and we wanted to see what he would do in the game situation. It probably answers your question for you. Yeah, we know what James can do and comfortable with him doing his thing. And he had some excellent defensive plays, some turnovers that were ill-advised, and we talked about those today. Again, we got to make the easy play and not try to make the spectacular play.